My name is Steve. I am here with Eric, as always. Eric, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Yeah. And joining us this week, we got a special guest. He is our resident Titanfall expert.
I wouldn't call myself an expert. What's up, nerds?
How's it going? And this is Phil. Phil, how's it going?
Good, and you?
I'm doing good.
All right.
All right, so let's get right into it. Usually, this is the part of the show where I ask everyone what they're playing. I think it's obvious we've all been playing the same thing, and I think we're eagerly wanting to talk about this.
Yep.
So let's talk about it. It was the big game this week. Almost everyone I know that had access to either a PC or an Xbox One was playing this. We're of course talking about the Titanfall Beta.
Oh yeah.
Damn right.
So the story with the Titanfall Beta, really quickly, is originally it was just going to be sent out to a couple people, and then it grew into a lot of people, and then eventually they just flat out released the beta to everyone who owns an Xbox One, or you could do it through Origin on PC. This was to stress test the servers, and they did a pretty good job. There was a little bit of a hiccup on one of the nights, but I think they really did a good job of keeping it together by the end, and when they had a really...
Speaking to that, I think that's pretty impressive, right? Like, it's a beta, and it's running that smoothly. I think that's pretty good. I mean, obviously, there's not the amount of people that there will be at launch.
No, because it was not an open beta, right? It was closed.
Well, it was open at the end.
yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay, didn't know.
Yeah. So the final day, it was open to pretty much everybody. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know how many people joined. It's clearly not. I mean, I doubt that it's the same amount of people that will be playing the game when it comes out. But you got to think there was a significant amount of people playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who really owns an Xbox One that was playing their Xbox should have been playing this. I mean, it's just this is really the first big game to come out. I think of this generation completely.
Yeah.
So and it really felt like an event. I was going on Twitter, I was going on social media and message boards, and that's what everyone was talking about. I mean, even PlayStation 4 fans who are not going to get to play this unless they own a PC or an Xbox One. So.
Like myself.
Or if they know somebody who owns a PC.
Yeah. like
myself.
Erik. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's exciting to be a part of. But now that the beta has been pulled out, the game is about 3 weeks away. Let's talk about our experiences, and I'm sure we have a lot to say. I know I have 3 pages of notes, having played this game about maybe 12 hours. So first impressions. What did you guys think?
Go ahead, Erik.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. When you told me about it the first time, I hadn't played it yet, and so I had to go to Phil's place because he's got a PC that I could play it on.
Right.
And you, Steve, when you told me about it, you were like, I don't know if you're gonna like this or not. And so I kind of gave myself a little bit of a chance to maybe be disappointed, but I had a feeling I was gonna like it. And I couldn't stop playing. I ended up going back to Phil's the second day so that I could keep playing, and he ended up just watching me most of the time.
Yeah.
But, I didn't realize that I left your house that late on the second day.
It was fun though. The game really grew on me though, because I heard about Titanfall, but I hadn't paid much attention to it until I heard you guys talk about it, and then you were like, "Go register for the beta," and I was like, "Okay, I'll try. Why not?" And installed the game, started playing. It was fun, but not the fun I expected from a huge game like that. And then Erik came over, and then we started playing, and the game really grew on me. It was fun because I love FPS, but this one for a particular reason didn't really struck a chord at first. But as I kept playing, it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually why I told you, Erik, that I didn't know if you would like it, is because I'd only played maybe an hour or two, and by that point, I don't play very much ground SPS like Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I was still keeping myself to the ground, and I'd play it almost like I would play Call of Duty. It's only after I spoke to you that time that I started really moving up and using the jumps and using the wall climb and all that stuff, and that's when I started getting a new appreciation for the game, and I knew at that point that you'd probably like it too. And
yeah, see, and as soon as I started playing, that's the first thing I did is I started jumping all over the place and trying to clear long passages between buildings if I could.
Right.
I thought that was something that seemed like an interesting challenge, and that seemed like it would be a very good skill to have in this game. So like I just hit the floor running and I started jumping all over the place.
Yeah, it brings a whole new dimension to the FPS jar.
Yeah, it does. And you, Phil, you're like a big Battlefield player. You play it pretty regularly. How does this compare to Battlefield in your opinion?
Well, it's not really the same thing because well, actually, there was only three modes in the beta. There was like a kind of a free for all, but teams.
Yeah.
And then there was the Conquest kind of showdown, and what was the Titans?
Last Man Standing.
Yeah, Last Titan Standing.
Yeah, the
Titan. So you can't really compare Battlefield to a game like that. Because in my own opinion, Battlefield is really more of a team game, where this one you can perform really well even if you kind of go solo.
That's an interesting point. It is true, yeah. I've noticed that in the attrition mode especially, even if you're on a team, you can just go solo and rack up some pretty good points, and if you lose, if your team loses, you can still be a winner by escaping and by not, by racking up extra points in that kind of way. So that's an interesting point. I think you can also play it as a team-based thing. Like if you have a bunch of friends like you do on Battlefield, and you get together, once a week or twice a week type of thing, and you get together and you actually talk to each other and you coordinate, well, then you can do pretty damn good, I would imagine, in this game.
Yeah, exactly. But also, you have to remember that Battlefield, the different classes they have. Some of them are support classes. You have a medic and you have an engineer and that kind of stuff. Which Titanfall doesn't have. The different classes are different types of weapons that...
Yeah.
Everybody's
a soldier in Titanfall.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different than Battlefield.
Yeah.
I think it's closer to Call of Duty in that sense, where it's...
You've played a lot more Call of Duty, I think. How would you compare it to that one, then?
To Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's, the thing about Call of Duty is you're grounded all the time.
Yeah.
So the strategy is really grounded. There's a lot of sniping in Call of Duty. There's a lot of shotguns in Call of Duty. Whereas in this one, you don't see that as much because you're always moving.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I don't know about you guys, but it was very rare that I was standing prone, and the only time I was protecting one of the bases and trying to be invisible. And
right.
I noticed that even after just 2 days of playing, and not full days, I was already trying to scout out the maps, and I was figuring out where were the best spots. I know you like this mode too, Steve, the one where you would capture a point and have to keep it.
Yeah.
So when I would go and capture a point, if there was nobody there, the first thing I would do was scout out the best point to have my back against the wall so that I can see everything around me.
Right.
And so there were some areas, especially on the one map with which has more vegetation, not the city one, the other one.
Right.
I would know exactly where to place myself so I could have a nice view of everything around me, but also have an exit point not too far so that if somebody comes in and are overpowering me, I can jet the fuck out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
And
sorry, speaking to sniping, I did try it a little bit with the machine gun, not so much with the actual sniper, because as soon as I tried the sniper, actually it's kind of the same point, is people are literally jumping around all over the map. Trying to snipe somebody is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
It's so fast, right?
Yeah, and that's something that I find keeps the game moving, because you don't have people camping out trying to snipe because it's so difficult. So they actually have to go and get their action elsewhere, and that's, I think, a big point to this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. If you do manage to snipe somebody, it's pretty fucking epic.
And speaking of the maps, I find these maps incredibly well designed.
Holy shit.
I never felt truly safe anywhere, because they can come from under you, they come from over you. There's windows everywhere. There's never a spot really that you can camp out and not be exposed to some type of angle.
Yeah.
extremely good map design, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what other maps they have.
I think it's rumored that there's going to be like 15 total maps.
Right.
I heard about that. I heard about an extra mode, including well, actually, this was actually in the beta. I don't know why this was a rumor, but like you have a mode that you can get into where it varies every time you start a new game. It's a new mode. So you go from capture the flag to Titan matches. But yeah, 15 total maps would be pretty damn cool if that's true.
Yeah, well, that was part of the code.
Yeah.
That people uncovered. That doesn't mean that they actually made the map. That just means they planned for the map.
That's right.
And that could also mean that's DLC. We don't know if that's actually part of the release. So.
One thing I mentioned to Phil when I was over at his place, and we're talking about detail, whether it's the maps or whether it's the Titans themselves. Something they talked about in an interview, the game developers, was how they tried to make everything feel like it could be a real world thing. So when they make a Titan, they don't just make this big robot and make him look cool. First they do that, and then at the same time they also think about how it would be designed if this was a real world mech. So you'll see stuff like an access latch where like a maintenance personnel would go and pump in some gas or access the gaskets or whatever's in there to go service the Titan. And you'll see it in the world too. Like there's little signs, there's little phone booths. Right. Actually, one of the first things, I don't know if you remember this, Phil, like I went up to this phone booth and I was like, Mom, I'm going to be late for supper. Goofing off, and then I went off to the battle. But like that would have never crossed my mind if the world didn't feel real. Like it felt like this was actually there and this was a phone booth and that's what you would want to do, right?
Agreed. It's gonna take a pretty powerful graphic card though to run it at full power on 1080p. Because yeah, it's gonna be packed with details and with all the players playing at the same time over the network, it's gonna be hard for the graphics to stay on top. Top notch.
What settings were we running it at, and it was okay at your place?
I think it was medium.
Medium. So yeah, mostly medium. We had a few things on high. Actually, we tried maxing everything out, and we got a little bit of lag, and it didn't seem worth it. But you're not running the newest graphics card.
No, it's
from like a year and a half ago or something like that. Right? Yeah.
Kind of old for a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay, but it's still cool that it's running, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, I'm used to gaming on, consoles mostly, and I didn't feel like before I realized which settings we were playing at first, before we boosted it up to high, I'd never crossed my mind that it didn't look good enough, like it didn't look bad, right? So I feel like for every gamer that's out there that has a PC, as long as you have something that's decently recent, you'll be okay, and you won't feel like you're being left out of some amazing graphics.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome, but it really doesn't matter. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And remember, the beta wasn't running at its full potential.
That's right.
They had brought down the graphics power for the beta, so it's going to look even better once you get the retail copy.
That's true. How did it look on Xbox One?
It looked awesome. I mean, no complaints from me. It looks like a really high-res 360 game.
Okay.
But I never, to a point, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. But at the same time, I was never like super wowed either. I wasn't looking at something and being like, wow, that looks awesome. So
I feel like that's a good compromise, because if we look at something like Killzone Shadowfall, which came out on PS4, and is supposedly, like, I haven't gone too far into it. I just played a couple of little while the first mission, and it is visually stunning. Like, there's lights effects up the ass, and there's just like everything looks gorgeous. And so, but apparently the gameplay kind of suffered, right? It wasn't as fun as it could have been. So I'm thinking about Titanfall here, the way you described it, like a current / old gen game in terms of looks, but high res and looks spiffy, but not something spectacular. But it doesn't matter because your content is so good, and the details that are put into the game, whether they look like they're from the future or if they're from the now, that's what really matters, right?
Yeah, but you know what? The visuals didn't super blow me away, but the one thing that did blow me away is the audio. When you call a Titan and you hear it coming down from the
Mhm.
sky, you feel like, oh shit is about to go down.
Yeah.
That sound of it coming down and landing, and then the impact from it felt every time it got me. My hair's like standing up, and I was ready to kick some ass.
Yeah,
man.
they got that one pretty good. You better turn that bass down when it lands.
Yeah, especially if you have the pleasure of seeing what I got to see as I died. Actually, I was running around outside as a pilot, and I had just called my Titan, and I see this other enemy Titan walking around, and I'm like, oh shit! So I tried to back up into the building that was behind me, but there was a wall there, so so I got run over. But the Titan that I'd called was coming down right there, and he fell onto the other Titan, crushed him to death. And it was just the most epic thing ever. And like I was like, did I just kill him? And then you get an instant replay, right, after you die, and it showed the guy who killed me, and then he's about to start walking away, and bam, gets crushed.
Right.
So amazing. And that's the thing about this game too, is there's all these little moments like that catch you off guard and have you going like, whoa, what just happened?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's that. And how do you feel? How do you guys feel about the Titans themselves? Do you like the Titans? Do you like the way they control, the way they feel, the different modes they have?
Phil, what's your take?
Yeah, they're pretty cool, pretty massive. I like the way when you get inside, all the screens lit up and one after the other. Hey, the details are nice, and yeah, you feel powerful inside those.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even notice that with the screens. I think I would have eventually, but I was so focused on like getting in and getting ready to start shooting at things that I didn't.
You can ask.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like the training missions too. I think like they accomplish exactly what they should. They don't keep you in there for too long, and they don't bore you either.
Yeah, it's a perfect tutorial. I find it was just it taught you everything you need to know, not too much of it, and right when you feel you're ready, it's over and it puts you into the game. It was just perfect tutorial. I wish Assassin's Creed did tutorials like that again.
Seriously.
yeah.
So what did you think of the Titans, Steve?
I really liked it because I felt badass when I was in them, but when other people are in them, I'm not feeling like when I'm a human or they don't call them humans, they call them something else in the game.
Pilots.
Pilots, that's right. When I was a pilot, I didn't feel like, oh my god, there's a Titan, I have no shot. I felt like they're powerful enough not to stand right in front of it, but still there's ways to kind of get around it and to try. Did you
ever manage to kill a Titan as a pilot?
I did.
Yeah, it's so gratifying.
Yeah, you feel good when you do that.
Yeah, you do.
Exactly. And one thing I really like about Titans, and I only really got to do this near the end of it, is when I started playing with the follow and the guard abilities.
Okay.
This was especially good when I was playing was attrition.
Yep.
I'd have my Titan either stand right guard, so that's watching one door and I'm watching the other.
That's
or
right.
at one point I didn't know where my Titan was anymore. So you have it follow, and then I was running away from someone who was shooting at me. I saw my Titan, I double jumped, got into the Titan, and it was just like, oh, it felt so badass.
That's a good feature to have the Titan follow you around. Good idea.
Yeah, it really is. It really puts a new strategy to the game because sometimes you have to get out of the Titan and you have to do other stuff, but your Titan's still active and it's still doing work for you, and you want it back, you just call it back, and it's super easy to do. You don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
One of the ways that I used it in those cases was to defend my spot while I went to escape into the ship.
Because you always lost.
Yeah. Hey, shut up! I won a bunch of them at the end. So yeah, but it's true. I did get used to escaping a lot. But yeah, so I would if I was lucky enough to still have a Titan at that point, I would just hightail it to the escape point with my Titan, and then just get out. And it's cool because you can get out and jump right away, so it's actually helping you get up higher faster as well.
Right.
So I would get up, jump up, quickly tap to put him in guard mode, and then usually would actually help to have our ship manage to escape, because if a Titan's coming in to try to shoot at your ship but there's another Titan there, he's going to take some time to shoot at that Titan instead, because otherwise he's just going to get himself massacred, right? So that was a good strategy. Did you guys develop any strategies while you were playing?
Yeah, well, one of them that I actually texted you about to see if you knew about this is when you're wall running, you can actually plant your knife into the wall,
right,
and stick to the side of the building. And I think a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what I would do, especially playing attrition, is I knew there's one in particular. There's 2 doors to get into the place, and I'd go right above the door, wall walk, and I'd be planted there. No one would see me because they don't expect someone to be sticking to the side of the building.
That's so awesome.
And I'd kill a ton of people there, and it's just things like that. Just I love doing that. It is just so much fun. There's so many things to do. Like it feels like there's a million controls for this game.
Yeah.
But I always knew what they were. I don't know. It seemed easy to do everything, but there's so many of them.
Yeah. See, I had a bit of trouble at first because I'm definitely not used to gaming on a keyboard, as Phil can definitely attest to. I was having so much trouble, like, just turning around and aiming at the right place, and then as soon as something would happen and I would be in a combat situation, I would just lose it, and I would start. It would look so stupid in the other person's kill cam. Like, I could see how I died, and I'd look like the most retarded, like, imbecile. Which was actually funny to watch, but like I think at some point I was running, like I was in a wall, like at a wall, and running towards it as somebody murdered me. But what we did the next day is I brought a PlayStation Move navigation controller. What that is essentially half of a controller, because you've got one joystick, you've got one D-pad, you've got an X and an O, and you've got L1, L2. So you've got a bunch of buttons and you've got a joystick, and there is a driver, which is not like an official driver, but there's a way to get it to work and emulate keystrokes and such. So we took a little bit of time. When I came the second day, I brought it in and we installed the driver, we tried it out, and I've actually filmed some of this, so we'll be able to show that off a little bit later. But you can map everything, so you can map your movement to your joystick. So instead of pressing WASD, you're using a joystick like you would on a console, but you're still using that mouse to aim. Okay. So you're not losing the edge that all the other gamers have with that mouse, but you're gaining a bit of an edge if you're used to moving with the joystick by adding that peripheral. And it was just really neat to see it work. Like, we opened up a little text file and we were we're turning the joystick, and it was typing WASD as we turned it around. It was pretty easy to install, right, Phil?
Yeah, it was simply download, install, and from there a little bit of tweaking here and there in the driver program itself.
Yeah,
but it was pretty straightforward.
That's right, and also some tweaking, which is actually something I got to credit to the Titanfall guys, is allowing you to tweak every single button to whatever you want it to be. So we put a couple things on the mouse, and we had a few extra buttons there, and a few on. The only thing about the navigation controller is it's not fun to hold.
No.
It's not comfortable. It's really not ergonomically designed like the DualShock 4 is. But it made it really interesting to be able to finally control, and that's why I had so much fun the second day. The first day I had a lot of fun, even though I was sucking real bad. But the second day I had that much more fun because I was actually starting to get good, and I was starting to sometimes show up at the top of the leaderboard in each match, and yeah, that was a blast.
Awesome. And I was curious what you guys thought about the NPCs that were around, kind of like fodder for killing.
Yeah.
There was
man, that's a great idea they had there, because it feels like you're always in the game, always killing something, even if it's just a grunt. It feels good, man, to get those mother beepers out.
Oh, you can say it. Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, it feels good to just lay them out.
Yeah. It's like it provides a transition between each of your pilot or Titan kills, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll even want to blow them up because they'll be like shooting little missiles at you that don't really hurt you. Say you're in a Titan or something, and then you see them off to the side and there's nothing else going on, and you're like, well, I guess I might as well take out a couple of these grunts. And it brings up your challenge level as well. Like, there's certain challenges to beat, And so the more you kill, the quicker you get up to one of those challenges, and you unlock a part for your Titan or a weapon for your pilot, all that kind of stuff. So it's not pointless. At the same time, it is kind of just fun. You know, it's like a little snack in between the main meals.
Exactly. And on top of that, you can even hack some of them.
Yeah, we didn't even do that.
Which is just like, it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
So how would you do that, actually hack?
So the specters, right?
Yeah, it's the specters. They're usually always facing some way, so unless you alert them, they're just gonna stand there. So if you sneak up behind them, same button as getting into a Titan. It's X on a console, E I think on the PC. You hold it down and you'll start hacking them, and eventually they'll only shoot at the enemy. They won't shoot at on your team. So
I wonder how useful that would be. You know?
Well, it's just a little advantage, right? Because it protects your team for a little bit. So it's
I feel though that for that to really work out to I think it's kind of like a neat little thing that you can do, but I don't feel like it's particularly useful, considering how easy it is to kill them.
Right.
But I feel like you would have to go around the entire match hacking every Spectre you see before that would actually make a difference in the game.
Right.
Which could be very amusing. Actually, that would be a good Let's Play.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the game that you guys had impressions on, or that you want to talk about?
What about the collector's edition? Did you guys see that the Titan you get with the DCE?
I tried to win one, but didn't work. Apparently, it's this monster, massive thing that I don't even know where I would put it. I take it. So if anyone else wants to give me,
Yeah, it's like 18 inches tall. It's pretty neat.
Cool.
Yeah, it's also $250.
Yeah. I was gonna say
the collector's edition is $250.
Yeah, $250.
Shit.
So I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that money down on my eventual new
education
PC so that I can actually play it.
Just kidding.
And I'm a whore with these things usually. I buy a lot of collector's editions to get the little figurines that come with it. Sometimes I have to draw the line, and I think this one was just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
$150, yeah. Well, you get a nice Titan for that money, but yeah, that's a little bit much.
Actually, speaking of the Titans, I can't wait to see how the other Titans play, how differently they play from the Titan that we did get to play.
Right.
We only got to play one Titan type.
Well, actually, you could have played two, because one of the burn cards was to play a different Titan. I got it once. Wait, speaking of the burn cards, did you guys use the burn cards? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we started using them towards the end. What did you think of them, Phil? You got to see me using them a lot towards the end.
Yeah, we didn't fully understand how they worked at first, and there weren't any kind of tutorials about those, so we had to figure it out with playing with them. But yeah, towards the end, Erik was using. Well, we were like, the beta's gonna end, so why not burn them all, you know? So yeah, we started using some of those, and it was pretty neat, but I'm not sure, because it looks like we got a lot. I'm not sure how it's gonna work when the real game's gonna come out. If you will get like 3 cards per game, or how you're gonna get those cards actually. But it seems like you could play 3 cards per match and never run out of them.
Yeah, I think that might be right, but I guess the strategy will come of which ones to use during which match, right? For example, there was some that give you more XP. So if you're in a match and you know that you're doing well and you're killing a lot of guys on the other team, like say you know that you've got a better skilled team than the other one, that'd be a good time to start using something that gives you more XP, because you know you're already going to get a lot, right? And then there's those cool ones, like you said, that gives you another Titan, so you can mix it up if the one that you're using isn't working too well.
Right.
So I don't know if it'll be hard to get them. I feel like you're probably right, Phil. You'll probably get a lot of burn cards, and you'll get to use them pretty frequently, and I think that's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it adds a little bit to the game, to the fun factor of the game. you can get more kind of powers from those cards. So that's cool. What you think, Steve?
It adds a whole level of strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there's so many different things that you can do. Like you can have a better weapon for one round, and it's like you're attacking more because you want to. It's easier to shoot. It adds so much. It's such a little thing, but it adds so much that just adds on to the awesomeness of Titanfall.
It's one of those things that the media has been talking about, how this game has, like, the devs have managed to look at other game genres, game types, and incorporate some things into them, like other strategy games or other multiplayer games, like not first-person shooters, and they take all that stuff and try to incorporate it into this first-person shooter, and it makes it feel so much more alive and more varied.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They did a pretty great job with the beta.
Yeah, I think we can definitely agree on that.
And that comes up to my next question.
Yeah.
Do you think the beta was good for Titanfall or bad for Titanfall? Because now everyone's played it. Do you think people got it out of their system and won't buy it, or do you think that really put a seed that they need to get this game ASAP?
I'm leaning towards the second answer.
Yeah. I definitely think they put a seed, and actually this is something I wanted to talk about, is the effectiveness of this beta. And we got a bit of a leak on some of the other aspects of Titanfall that we hadn't heard anything about until now, which is to say that there's going to be some sort of like monsters in the background, like huge monsters and whatnot. And this isn't really spoilery because, I mean, by the time the game comes out, everybody's going to know about this. But I think it's great that they kept it back, because we've seen this before in other mediums, specifically in the TV recently, a TV series. If you look at Game of Thrones, in the first season of Game of Thrones, I don't think there were any supernatural beasts at first. There was nothing supernatural going on, right?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry. Well, we're at season 4 or something. If you don't know this by now.
Just messing with you.
The show opens with zombies, so.
Does it? Oh yeah, that's right. But it's just sort of like kind of happens. You get a glimpse of what could happen, but then you never hear about it. I mean, you hear about it, but you never see it again throughout the whole first season and up until the end of it, where something pretty major happens. So I guess I won't get into the spoilers. But essentially, and Walking Dead did something similar too, where they started out, of course there's zombies, but they start out with something that's less fantastical, and then you get to the CDC where it's a bit more sci-fi, and they're getting into some more nerdy territory. Same thing with Game of Thrones, where you get into more nerdy territory with all this fantastical visuals and that kind of stuff. But because that first season is grounded in reality, just like this beta was, I feel like it gets everybody to just focus on the material or the characters, or in this case the gameplay and the Titans themselves, so it doesn't detract from that. You get to really enjoy those specific parts of it, and then you bring in those other things that make it even more epic. I think that's why this was so smart of them with the beta and with all the information they've put out so far, was to just let everybody relate to it as much as possible before shooting out into something even crazier. So everybody's already related to it, or everybody that's been hearing about this has related to it. And then when the game comes out, bring on the monsters, bring on all that stuff. We'll be happy to have it.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, you go ahead, Phil.
I was just gonna say, from playing the beta, now you know if you're gonna like the game or not when it comes out. Yeah. So either way, if you were looking into playing that game and you played the beta and you were disappointed, you're just not gonna buy the game. But if you played it and you're like, wow, this is great, and it's just the beta, I think that you're gonna really look forward to the game being released and just play the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, if they told us, okay, we're just removing the beta name and that's what's going to release, I'd still buy it.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was just awesome as is. And just to elaborate on your point of what we heard with the monsters, what they're saying is that in some of the other maps, they're based on other planets, and there's just monsters that or creatures that inhabit those planets. They have nothing really to do with what you're doing. and
Okay.
apparently they pretty much stay to themselves, except for maybe one or two different creatures. But if you piss them off, then like real creatures, they're gonna react, and it's not only monsters, but it's also apparently like trees or plants.
Oh,
That if
that's cool.
you camp in a plant, then maybe it's poisonous. You're gonna start losing. It's just to make those worlds a little bit more alive.
Yeah.
And that, you know what? If you go, I mean, if Earth was a battlefield, there would be animals walking around. I mean, that's just, and it makes it feel like you're really going on these other planets and you're disturbing their land, and that's what they mean by monsters. It's
Yeah.
it's just kind of an added element to the maps to make it more real and to, again, there's more stuff that's going to happen. You know, you have to really not only watch for Titans, you have to watch for people, you have to watch for NPCs. Now you have to watch for the damn wildlife in the on those planets. So it's,
know,
it's
and-
exciting.
It's pretty
Thinking
smart.
Yeah, and thinking about it, I get a feeling like as you level up, you'll gain access to those worlds. I get the feeling like when you start out, you probably won't, just
Right.
because they'll probably want to do exactly what they've been doing with this beta, is to get new players to get used to the action and get used to what you're doing before they're introduced to those other elements, right? And that's just speculation on my part, but I just feel like that's probably something they're going to want to do. And just to elaborate a little bit more on what I was saying too, think of all those Call of Duty players, those Battlefield players that love first-person shooters, but like realistic kind of stuff. They can easily be lured by mechs. Everybody likes mechs, right?
Right.
But some of these people might be put off by sci-fi stuff or fantasy stuff. So I think that they've done a good job of attracting pretty much everybody the way they've been talking about it so far.
Yeah, it's like it took all the most popular multiplayer games
Yeah.
and combined it into one game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's elements of Halo in there. There's elements of Call of Duty. There's elements of Battlefield. There's elements of. It's like all of my favorite multiplayer games of all time have been made into one game.
Yeah. Hey, there's elements of card games.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, true.
And I was curious, what you guys think that like there's supposed to be a storyline attached to this, and what else do you think is going to be kind of in the final version that?
That we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any thoughts, Phil?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the story, but I couldn't care less because the game is so good to play in multiplayer that I would just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if there was no background or story. I would just play the damn game.
And that's an interesting point, because one of the things when they started plugging next gen, which is now this gen, is that there would be games that would come out that would be always online. That was a big thing at E3 last year, and this is the first game that really kind of has this always online, gameplay. And so far, I'm really impressed, and it excites me for other games like The Division, and what's the other one there with by Bungie,
Destiny.
and games like that. So I thought I'd be bothered by an only multiplayer only game, and this has kind of put my fears to rest. I don't need a single player for this game. I think the multiplayer is doing a fine job on its own.
Yeah, and we're hearing so many people who say that exact same thing. To name one, Adam Sessler, who is known in the game industry, and he says that he's always said that he's not a big multiplayer guy. And so hearing you talk about that, and I can say that too. I mean, there are multiplayer games that catch my attention from time to time, but generally speaking, I like those single player or co-op experiences. And this game is just, they tweaked the gameplay to such an extent, and they made it so much fun that you completely forget about everything else, and you're just enjoying the moment that you're in, and you're enjoying fighting other people. So if this was a single player game where there were no other humans, it would definitely suffer from that. So they definitely went the right route. And as far as story is concerned, sure, add it on, and it'll probably make it all that more epic to go through it, but they would be able to get away with not having a story, and a lot of people would not care.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. No, exactly. I think it's really exciting. I'm really, really looking forward to it. All we have to do is wait 3 weeks, so it's not too bad.
Well, so actually that brings up a good point. So all you have to do is wait 3
Yeah,
weeks.
well, I got Xbox One. So.
Yeah, on Xbox One, no brainer. So that's pretty cool. I have a PS4, no PC, so essentially I'm gonna have to wait quite a bit longer. Now I have it on I mean, I have a 360 at the moment,
Right.
which I'm planning on selling at some point. But I could technically get it on 360, but I don't want to do that.
No, I'm not sure you're gonna get what you want with the 360 version.
No, because I'm not so concerned about the visuals. I'm concerned more about the gameplay. I get the feeling like there's no way that the 360 version is going to be on the same level as the Xbox One version. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's being developed by a different studio, right? In conjunction
On
with
top of that. Right.
Respawn. So, who knows? There's going to be somewhere that they're cutting. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's the nature of the beast. That's what all these games that are kind of multi-platform are doing. So.
Yeah. I mean, it played just fine, like we said, on PC on medium settings. So
right.
In terms of graphics, I'm sure it'll be good enough. It won't be great, but it'll be good enough. And considering that it's all about the gameplay, then maybe it's okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna wait and see if the reviews for the 360 are so ecstatic and saying that it's exactly the same as the other one. Maybe I will jump on it for now. But I think I might just put that $60 aside and wait to build my own PC as well. But so I know, Steve, you're obviously getting it day one. I'm planning on getting it on PC. That's my plan, and I'm hoping that I get to build a PC sometime in the next couple months. And Phil, what was your take on this? You had a different.
Yeah, because I'm not too sure if I'm gonna buy it on PC because I really like to play on my PS4, and I got so many things to do right now that it might be a waste of money to buy it on PC and not play it. But I'll look into it. Maybe when you get your PC, I'll try it, but I'm not sure yet. But it's an awesome game.
Yeah. So for you, if you had the console, if you had an Xbox 360, or if it was coming to PS4, would this be?
Yeah, I would definitely buy it. Yeah.
All right, cool. So again, a damn shame that this became an exclusive to Xbox.
Well, good for them though.
Yeah, definitely good for them. This is definitely going to bring a huge boost to their console sales.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you think this is going to help Xbox sell units?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to help them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know Sony has taken the lead here in the console war, well, as far as numbers are concerned.
Yeah.
And this exclusive for Xbox One is really going to help them get more of the market thereafter.
Yeah, I have a feeling like this might actually bring them close to parity if it takes off. And I mean, all signs are pointing that it's going to take off like crazy. So I really see this being a big game changer to this early console war.
Yeah, because there's not that much coming out early on for either system. This is really one of the only ones. PS4 is Infamous, but I don't think Infamous. I think is going to be a good game, and it's going to be well liked by PS4 users.
Yeah.
I just don't see it as the same level as Titanfall. I mean, Titanfall, from day one that people played it, we heard it'd be the biggest thing ever. The hype was huge on this from everyone who played it, and now that people played it, I haven't heard really any bad things about it. It's well, except from PS4 fans, but that's a
well, actually, you know what? With Infamous, I wouldn't actually buy a PS4 for Infamous.
Right.
Yeah.
If I didn't have any console right now, I might think about buying Xbox One because of Titanfall, but not the other way around.
Yeah.
Right.
I get the feeling like Infamous is the kind of thing that'll help continue to sell PS4.
Yep.
But Titanfall is the kind of thing that's not just going to continue, but convince people to buy an Xbox One.
Right. And my final question is: do you think Xbox is going to try to keep? Do you think Microsoft is going to try to keep Titanfall an exclusive?
Of course, they're going to try.
Yeah.
I feel like here's the thing. Let's think about it from the other side, where it's Respawn and EA. What are they going to want to do next? So they've got two options. They get as much money as they can from Microsoft and keep it exclusive to the one console, which makes development easier because they don't have to think about one extra, console to port to. Or do they try to go for the big bucks and, make it for every console there is except for the Wii U?
Every game now they make a point to saying coming on all consoles except Wii U.
So sad.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking they're gonna keep their, well, at least they're gonna try to keep that exclusive. Because well, when everything's gonna be released, and they might try to port it to PS4, the big hype is gonna be gone. So I'm not sure they would get a shitload of money from that. So I'm pretty sure
they're not porting the initial Titanfall to the PS4 because they have signed an exclusivity agreement with Microsoft
for the whole time of the game.
For the first game. Yeah, there's no timed exclusivity. It's completely exclusive.
Okay.
However, there's nothing stopping them from putting Titanfall 2, for example, on all consoles at the moment.
Yeah. And you wonder, is Titanfall 2 going to have the same impact?
Yeah.
I get the feeling like it might. If they can keep this buzz going, and if it's as good as we think it is, and also, again, all signs point to yes, and they can keep that magic alive for the second game, I think so. And I think that they've proven that they can be smart enough to go get ideas from here and there and put them all together into one amazing game. I don't see why they can't make the second game just as amazing. And I got one idea for you that I'm pretty sure is going to be in there that will make it work. Jetpacks on the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big miss.
I get a feeling like that's one of the reasons why they didn't put it in there. Well, for one, to make it a bit simpler to start, but also because that would be one extra thing that they can throw into the second one and blow everybody's friggin' mind.
Unless they already have it. We don't know. We haven't seen all the Titans.
It might be a DLC somewhere as well.
Yeah, but again, like I feel like putting this in DLC would be a mistake. I feel like keeping this for Titanfall 2 would be the perfect solution for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's good for Titanfall. Any guys anything to add, or?
Yeah, just